The crash site was silent. The alien ship had fallen from the sky 3 nights ago. Burning like a falling star, it hit the rocky desert just outside the Earth colony of New Halden. When the human rescue team arrived, they expected to find only metal, wires, and maybe a few alien bodies. But what they found shocked them all. Inside the broken remains of the ship, lying under a cracked glass pod, was a girl. She was young, maybe 15 in human years, with pale blue skin, silver hair, and glowing golden eyes. Her arms were scratched, her clothes were torn. And she didn't speak. Not a word, not even a name. Dr. Ethan Ward, the team's medical lead, gently lifted her into his arms. "She's alive," he whispered, checking her pulse. "But who is she?" One of the soldiers asked. Ethan didn't answer. He had already noticed something strange. Her features were soft, almost human, too human for a full alien. They brought her back to the lab at New Halden. She didn't fight or speak, only looked around with wide, frightened eyes. When the nurse tried to give her water, she drank it fast, like she hadn't tasted water in days. Ethan decided to call her Lyra for now, until she remembered her real name, but deep inside, he had a feeling she didn't forget, she just never knew. Later that night, Ethan sat alone in his lab, studying her DNA sample. He wasn't supposed to run the test. Protocol said alien DNA had to be sent to the central labs on Earth. But Ethan was curious and worried. Something about the girl felt wrong? Or maybe it was right, and everything else was wrong. When the results loaded on his screen, Ethan's eyes went wide. He leaned in, checking the file again. Then again, this couldn't be real. The test showed a 48% match to human DNA. And not just any human. Her DNA matched a woman named Dr. Anna Ward, Ethan's own sister. But Anna had disappeared 20 years ago on a mission near the Andron Spiral, declared dead, never found. How could this girl share her DNA? Ethan's hands shook as he saved the file to a private folder. He needed time to think. At that very moment, the power flickered. The lab lights dimmed for 3 seconds, then came back. Ethan didn't notice that someone else had entered the system. A shadow in the code, a masked user-deleted part of Lyra's test file, then vanished. The next morning, Lyra woke up screaming. It wasn't a loud scream, but a deep, sharp sound that shook the lab windows. She clutched her head, eyes glowing bright gold. The nurse ran to help, but before she got close, the machines in the room all turned off at once. "She's doing this," the nurse shouted, backing away. Ethan rushed in and grabbed Lyra's hand. "Lyra, look at me," he said. "You're safe now." Slowly, the lights came back, the machines rebooted. And Lyra opened her eyes, tears falling down her cheeks. I saw them," she whispered. Speaking for the first time, Ethan froze. "You spoke English?" "I don't know how," she whispered again. "I just saw fire, and men in masks, and a woman who looked like me, but older." Ethan's heart raced. Was it a memory? Was Lyra seeing Anna? He didn't say anything out loud, but his mind was full of questions. Who was Lyra really? Why did she crash on Earth now, after 20 years of silence? And most of all, why did her DNA say she was part human? He knew one thing for sure. Someone was trying to hide the truth. And Lyra wasn't just an alien girl with no name. She was the key to something much bigger, something dangerous. Ethan looked out the lab window, where the sky turned red with sunset. He had a feeling their lives were about to change forever. And this girl, this strange, powerful girl, was only the beginning. Ethan couldn't sleep that night. The DNA test results kept flashing in his mind like a warning light. Lyra's genetic code wasn't just close to human, it was deeply connected to his own family. 48% of her DNA matched Anna Ward, his sister, who had vanished 2 decades ago, but it wasn't possible. Anna had been a full human scientist working on a peaceful mission. How could part of her be in an alien girl? Unless she hadn't died, unless something far worse had happened to her. Ethan sat in his lab, staring at the incomplete file. Someone had deleted parts of it, someone who didn't want the truth to be found. But why? And who? He checked the security logs from the night before. No one had entered the lab physically, but the computer logs showed a remote breach. Someone had hacked into the system and removed specific DNA data from the record. They didn't erase everything, just the parts about human connections. It was a clean job, done by a pro, whoever they were. They didn't want anyone to know Lyra was part human, especially not part of Ethan's own family. Ethan saved the remaining files on a hidden drive, then he walked down the hallway to Lyra's room. She sat on the bed with her knees pulled up to her chest. Her golden eyes looked dim. Tired, the room was quiet, except for the soft hum of machines watching her heartbeat and brain activity. When she saw Ethan, she didn't move, but her eyes followed him as he entered. "I saw the woman again," she said softly, "in my dream." Ethan sat down beside her, the same woman as before. Lyra nodded. She had long black hair, just like me, and she wore a white coat. "Like yours," she added. Ethan's heart skipped a beat. That sounded exactly like Anna. "Did she say anything?" he asked. Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "She said, 'Run,' and then the dream ended." Ethan gently took her hand. "You're remembering something," he said. "I don't know what," she whispered, "but I don't think I was." Born like other people, she wasn't wrong. Ethan had a theory, a dark one. Lyra might have been grown, not born, grown in a lab, using DNA from both humans and aliens. "A hybrid Lyra," he said carefully. "Do you feel different from others?" Lyra nodded slowly. "I hear things sometimes, even when no one is speaking. And I can feel people's feelings, like fear, anger, sadness, that wasn't normal, that wasn't human." Ethan stood up and looked out the window. He didn't know who built the ship Lyra had crashed in, but he knew someone was looking for her, and they would come soon. Suddenly, a loud alarm rang through the facility. Ethan and Lyra both jumped. A voice echoed from the hallway speakers. "Attention. Base staff, unidentified ship entering orbit. All personnel prepare for lockdown." Ethan rushed to the main control room. On the large screen was a shadowy ship, black, sleek, and silent. It hovered above Earth like a predator watching its prey. It didn't send a greeting. It sent only one message, in cold, sharp language: "Return Subject X immediately, or face elimination." Ethan's blood ran cold. Subject X. They were talking about Lyra. Who the hell are these people? One of the guards asked, but Ethan already had an idea. Whoever built Lyra didn't see her as a person. They saw her as property. He ran back to Lyra's room. She was standing now, looking out the window at the dark sky. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. "They found me," she whispered. "I can feel them watching." Ethan didn't know what to do yet, but he knew one thing. He wasn't going to give her back. Not to people who called her a subject, not to people who deleted the truth from her DNA file. She was more than a secret, more than a science experiment. She was alive. And she had a right to know who she really was. "I promise you, Lyra," he said. "I will protect you, no matter what." But deep down, he also knew this was only the beginning, and the truth would only get more dangerous from here. The alien ship stayed in Earth's orbit. It didn't move, it didn't attack. But its presence was a silent threat. Everyone in New Halden could feel the tension in the air. It was like a knife hanging above their heads. Ethan stood by the window of the medical lab. Watching the dark shape in the sky, he knew the ship wasn't here for war. Not yet. It was waiting for Lyra, the girl they called Subject X. Inside her room, Lyra sat cross-legged on the floor. Her eyes closed, her hands glowing faintly. With golden light, she wasn't sleeping. She was remembering every time she closed her eyes. Flashes came, cold walls, voices speaking a language she didn't understand, needles, machines, wires on her head. And that same face, the woman with kind eyes and long black hair, the woman who looked just like her. Ethan walked in quietly. "Holding a tablet, Lyra," he said. She opened her eyes. "They want you back," he said. "I know," she whispered. "But I don't belong to them." Ethan nodded. He had been researching all night, going through old files. He found one secret project hidden in military records. It was called Operation Echo Child. It was classified as a biohybrid experiment. No location, no details, just one line, status. "Terminated, Echo Child," Ethan whispered. Looking at her, "You were created as part of something terrible." Lyra hugged her knees. "I never asked to be born," she said. "I didn't want these powers. I just wanted to be someone." Suddenly, the lights in the lab flickered. An alarm beeped once. Ethan turned to the monitor. Someone had breached the colony's outer wall. Security cameras showed 3 figures, tall, armored, moving without sound. Their eyes glowed red beneath their helmets. "They weren't human, Lyra. We have to go," Ethan said, grabbing a pack. "They've sent retrieval units." Lyra stood quickly. "I can feel them," she said, her voice shaking. "They're not just soldiers. They're like me." Ethan paused. "What do you mean?" "They're hybrids too," she said, "but not free like me." As they moved through the halls, alarms started blaring. Security guards ran in all directions. Ethan and Lyra slipped into a side corridor, heading toward the shuttle bay. Suddenly, a loud crash shook the building. One of the alien soldiers had broken through. He stood 7 feet tall, his body wrapped in black armor. His face was hidden, but his voice was clear. "Subject X, surrender," he said. "Return to the vessel." Lyra stepped forward, her hands glowing. "I'm not yours," she said. The soldier raised a weapon, but before he could fire, Ethan pulled Lyra back and threw a flash grenade. Boom! Smoke filled the hallway. They ran, hearts pounding. Lyra's powers flared as doors opened on their own and cameras blinked off. They reached the shuttle bay. A small transport ship waited inside. But just as they entered, another alien stood in their way. This one was female, taller, leaner, and faster. "Your mission was to return," she said coldly. "You were not meant to escape." Lyra looked her in the eyes. "Who am I?" she shouted. "Why do I see that woman in my dreams?" The female soldier paused. For a second, something flickered in her expression. Then she whispered, "The donor was strong. Too strong. You were the only one who survived." Lyra's legs felt weak. She stumbled back. Ethan caught her. "They used my sister," he said. "They stole her DNA." The female soldier raised her arm to strike, but Lyra's power exploded. A pulse of light burst from her hands, sending the alien flying across the room. Smoke and sparks filled the air. Ethan hit the shuttle controls. The door closed and the ship launched upward. As they rose into the sky, Lyra looked out the window. The alien ship in orbit began to move, following them, but now she wasn't just running, she was ready to fight. "I want to find out everything," she said, "about the lab, the woman, and why they made me." Ethan looked at her and nodded. "Then we'll go to the only place." They tried to hide the lab on Mars, far behind them. The alien soldiers watched the shuttle disappear into the clouds. One of them turned to the sky and spoke quietly. "She's remembering, the code is waking up." The shuttle burst through Earth's atmosphere. Shaking as fire danced across its hull, Ethan gripped the controls tightly. Guiding the small craft toward open space, Lyra sat beside him, her golden eyes locked on the shrinking blue planet. Behind them, her hands still glowed faintly, energy humming just beneath her skin. "We're not safe yet," Ethan said, his voice low. He glanced at the radar screen. The alien ship was moving. Following them, Lyra didn't speak. She didn't need to. She could feel that something ancient and familiar was chasing her. Not just the ship, but the truth. Destination locked, Ethan said. Mars. They were headed to the abandoned research station hidden in the southern mountains of Mars. It was once used by Earth's Science Council for secret experiments. Then, suddenly, was shut down and erased from the records. Now, Ethan believed that was where Lyra was made. Where? Anna Ward, his sister, was taken. The ship jolted as something exploded behind them. A missile had missed them by only a few meters. They're firing, Ethan said, turning sharply. Hold on. Lyra closed her eyes and reached into the controls. She wasn't touching them, she was inside them. Her power flowed through the circuits like electricity. Suddenly, the shuttle's engines surged with strength, and they rocketed forward, faster than the alien ship expected. We're out of range, Ethan said a minute later. He looked at her, breathing hard. Did you do that? I think so, Lyra replied softly. It's getting easier. Ethan nodded, but he didn't smile. He could see it every time she used her power. Something changed inside her. Her glow grew stronger. Her heart beat faster, like a sleeping system waking up as Mars appeared in the distance, red and dusty. Lyra finally spoke again. I'm scared, she said. What if I don't like what we find there? Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. We face it together, he said, no matter what. The shuttle landed hours later on an old platform covered in red dust. The Martian wind blew across the rocks in slow, endless waves. The research station was buried beneath the ground, hidden like a secret grave. They found a broken elevator shaft and climbed down, step by step. The air inside was cold and stale. Lights flickered as their boots echoed in the dark halls. The walls were covered in frost, and everything was quiet, too quiet. This place feels like death, Lyra whispered. They reached the main control room. Old terminals lined the walls. Ethan began powering them up, while Lyra wandered to a glass window. Beyond it was a strange room, one filled with empty pods, broken wires, and dried blood. She pressed her hand against the glass. A wave of memory slammed into her. The woman, Anna, screaming, the lab techs shouting, her own voice crying out as something sharp pierced her skin. I was here, she said, gasping. I remember now. Ethan turned from the console. I found a journal, he said, holding up a datapad. It's encrypted, but it's written by Anna. He started decoding it. Line by line, Lyra paced the room, her hands shaking. She tried to protect me. She said they used her to make me, but she fought back. A loud beep came from the console. The journal unlocked. The last entry read, they want her to open the vault, but she's not ready. She's more than just a key, she's the bridge between species. If anyone finds this, protect her, even from herself. Lyra stared at the words. She knew what I would become. Suddenly, the ground shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. The radar showed something approaching fast. Ethan looked up at the screen. They followed us, he said. The alien ship had arrived. And it was landing. Seconds later, the lab lights turned red. The enemy was here. Ethan grabbed his pulse rifle and handed Lyra a shock baton. We have to defend ourselves, he said. No, she replied calmly. I have to defend you. The door blasted open as armored figures stormed in. 3 hybrids, cold and mechanical. Their red eyes glowing. One raised a weapon. But before he could fire, Lyra stepped forward and raised her hand. A wave of force exploded from her palm, hurling the attackers across the room. The walls cracked, machines sparked, and Lyra stood in the center, glowing brighter than ever before. They're not going to take me, she said. Not now, not ever. Ethan stared at her. He knew this was no ordinary girl. She wasn't just created, she was chosen, and her war was only beginning. The underground station was falling apart. Walls cracked from shockwaves, and dust filled the air like smoke. Sparks rained from broken lights as emergency sirens screamed in the background. But in the middle of it all, Lyra stood strong. The hybrid soldiers lay scattered around her, stunned by the force of her power. Ethan stared at her, breathless. Her body glowed with energy, calm but intense. She wasn't just reacting anymore. She was controlling it. "We have to move," Ethan said. "There might be more coming." Lyra nodded, her golden eyes focused. "They'll keep coming until they have me," she said. "But I'm not leaving until I know the truth." Ethan helped her push aside a broken control panel, revealing an old maintenance tunnel. According to Anna's journal, this tunnel led to the lab's deepest chamber, the place where the Echo Child project had started, and where, maybe, it had ended, as they climbed down into the lower level. The air grew colder. Frost covered the steel walls, and the floor was covered in broken equipment and shattered glass. Some rooms were completely dark, others flickered with dying lights. It looked like the lab had been abandoned in a hurry. They entered a large chamber marked Genetic Core Vault. The walls were lined with metal pods, some empty, some still sealed shut. Ethan stepped forward and scanned the room. "These pods. They were cloning tanks," he said quietly. "They didn't just make you." Lyra walked toward a broken pod, her reflection shaking in the shattered glass. Inside, frozen in place, was another body nearly identical to her, but this one never woke up. Its skin was pale, lifeless. A failed copy. She turned away, heart pounding. "I wasn't the only one," she whispered. "They made others." Ethan tapped into the central console. It sparked to life and displayed files labeled Prototype, Alpha, Beta, and finally, Echo. He opened the final file. It contained a video. Anna appeared on the screen, her face tired but determined. "If you're watching this, then they're probably coming for her," Anna said. "She's the only one who survived. The only one with full balance between alien and human DNA." Lyra stepped closer, tears in her eyes. Anna continued. "She has my blood, my mind, but her power is something beyond us. The aliens wanted a weapon, but what we created was something new, a living bridge." The screen went dark. Silence returned to the lab. "I'm not a mistake," Lyra said. "I was made to connect worlds." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "You were made to change everything," he said. Suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the lab's speaker system. "You've seen too much. This facility is now under quarantine." Lyra looked up, eyes narrowing. "That voice," she said. "It's him." Ethan didn't understand. "Who?" She turned toward the back of the room where a hidden door slowly opened. Out stepped a tall figure wrapped in dark armor. Unlike the others, his face was not covered. He looked older, wiser and sad. "I am Director Vaylor," he said. "I led the Echo Child project." Lyra's hands glowed. "You made me," she said, her voice shaking with emotion. Vaylor nodded slowly. "We created you to unlock something ancient. Something hidden deep in alien space, a vault that only someone like you could open." "I'm not a key," Lyra snapped. "No." Vaylor agreed. "You're the lock too." He stepped forward, hands raised in peace. "We made others," he said, "but they failed. Their bodies rejected the code. You are the first who lived, the only one who adapted." Lyra's glow flared. "And what about Anna?" she asked. "My mother." Vaylor looked down. She resisted. He said quietly, "She tried to destroy the project, so we removed her." Ethan lunged forward, rage burning in his chest. "You killed her." Vaylor didn't answer. He turned to Lyra. "She lives in you," he said. "Her spirit, her thoughts, pieces of her memories were used to shape your mind." Lyra fell to her knees, overwhelmed. "I remember her voice," she whispered. Used to sing to me in dreams, Ethan knelt beside her. You are not their creation, he said. You are her legacy. Suddenly, another alarm blared, this time from orbit. The alien warship above Mars had locked onto the lab's location. A countdown began. Facility self-destruct in 5 minutes, the system announced. Vaylor looked at them with regret. She must leave, he said. If she dies, all hope dies with her. He opened a hidden tunnel leading back to the surface. Go, he said. I'll stay behind. Lyra hesitated, then nodded. I'm not done yet, she said. We'll find the vault and I will find out what you were afraid of. She turned to Ethan. Let's go. Together, they ran down the tunnel as explosions shook the lab behind them. The truth had nearly broken her, but now it was her weapon, and she was ready to use it. The tunnel shook behind them as the lab exploded. Fire chased them through the metal corridor, pushing heat and smoke into the narrow passage. But Lyra didn't slow down. She moved like she knew the way. Like something inside her was guiding every step, Ethan followed close behind. Coughing from the smoke, the old tunnel opened into a hidden Martian launch pad, half buried under rock and rust. A small, dusty ship sat on the pad, still functional. Its systems blinked with weak but stable power. We'll take this, Lyra said. Running to the controls, Ethan looked at her, surprised. Can you fly it? I don't know, she said, placing her hand on the console, but it knows me. The ship came to life as her fingers touched the surface. Engines powered up. Lights turned green. The ship accepted her as if it had been waiting. As they took off from Mars, the alien warship above began moving again. But it didn't fire. Not yet. Lyra stared at the stars ahead. I feel something, she whispered. There's a place out there. A signal. It's calling me. Ethan checked the readings. There was a pulse deep in space, near the edge of known star maps, a strange, encrypted signal broadcasting in an ancient alien code. It repeated one phrase, Vault Code, Echo. Prime weapon sequence incomplete. Lyra closed her eyes. It's the vault they talked about, she said. They want me to finish what they started. Do you want to go? Ethan asked. Lyra opened her eyes, glowing like twin suns. I need to, she said. I think that's where I'll find the last piece of the truth. They jumped into hyperspace, racing through glowing tunnels of light as they traveled. Lyra sat in the ship's quiet core chamber. There she found something unexpected, an old alien interface, glowing with symbols. When she touched it, it opened. Inside was a message from Director Vaylor, left long ago. Echo Child Protocol 7. The voice said, if you are receiving this, you have reached the weapon chamber. Your DNA carries the code to unlock the vault. Inside lies a force strong enough to bend galaxies. Lyra frowned. They didn't want peace, she said. They wanted control. Another voice followed. It was Anna. Her voice was faint, broken by static. If you find this, you are not just a weapon. You are my daughter. You are hope. Tears slid down Lyra's face as the message ended. Ethan entered the chamber and sat beside her. Are you okay? He asked. She tried to stop them, Lyra said. They locked her memories inside me. And now I know what the weapon code is. What is it? Ethan asked. It's not a weapon, she whispered. It's a warning system, a failsafe. If the vault is opened by the wrong hands, it will destroy everything. Ethan leaned back, stunned, all this time. They wanted to unlock power they couldn't control. Lyra nodded, and I'm the key. Moments later, they exited hyperspace. Before them was a giant black structure floating in deep space. It was the vault shaped like a spiral star, covered in ancient alien markings. The signal was stronger now, and Lyra's body began to glow brighter. We're here, she said. The ship docked at a hidden port. As they stepped out, Lyra felt the energy around her. It wasn't just a place, It was alive. The vault doors opened as she approached. Inside was a long hallway of light leading to a massive circular chamber. In the center was a crystal console, pulsing with colors. Ethan followed her inside. "This is where they wanted to bring you," he said, "to make you open it." Lyra placed her hand on the console. The room lit up. A voice echoed through the chamber. "Not alien, not human, but both, code accepted. Echo Prime. Final sequence ready." A beam of light shot upward, showing hundreds of ancient files maps. Histories, warnings, and technology. All of it hidden for eons. This was knowledge meant to unite civilizations, but in the wrong hands, it could destroy them. Lyra stepped back. "I won't activate it," she said. "They wanted war, but I want peace." Suddenly, a blast rocked. The vault, the alien warship, had followed them and sent a team inside. Footsteps echoed through the halls, more hybrid soldiers. Armed and ready to take control, Lyra turned to Ethan. "We can't let them touch this." He nodded, raising his weapon. "Then we make our stand." Lyra closed her eyes and reached deep inside herself. She connected to the vault fully. Her body merged with the console, light swirling around her. The system responded not as a tool, but as an ally. When the soldiers entered, they were met with blinding energy. Lyra floated in midair, her voice powerful. "I am not your weapon," she said. "I am the firewall." The vault unleashed a pulse, disabling all enemy systems. The soldiers collapsed, stunned and powerless. The battle ended before it began. Ethan stared at her in awe. "You rewrote the code." Lyra lowered to the ground, her glow fading to a soft light. "I made a new choice," she said. "I locked the vault again. But I left behind a message only for those who come in peace." She looked out at the stars, and for the first time, she didn't feel lost. She felt found. The vault was silent now. The soldiers who had tried to take it lay unconscious. Their weapons burned out by the pulse. The glowing crystals along the walls dimmed, the ancient system powering down. But one figure still stood in the center. Lyra. The girl with golden eyes and a glowing soul. She had chosen not to activate the weapon code. She had chosen not to control or conquer. She had chosen to protect. Ethan slowly walked toward her. He had watched her do the impossible. She had stopped a war not with violence, but with a single act of will. "Lyra," he said softly. She turned, her glow fading into a warm shimmer. Her eyes looked tired, but peaceful. "It's done," she said. "I locked it from the inside. No one can access the vault unless they are like me, and there won't be another like me." Ethan nodded. "You made the right choice." She looked around the vault. Now, more like a temple than a weapon chamber. This place was never meant for war. She whispered, "It holds knowledge, not destruction." The ship's radio suddenly came to life. A voice crackled through the speaker. "Human, this is Earth. Command, we received your emergency signal from Martian orbit. We're sending recovery units to your location." Ethan responded quickly. "This is Dr. Ethan Ward. We're alive. And we have something to report." He turned to Lyra. "They'll want to meet you." "I know," she said, "but I'm not ready to be their experiment again." "They won't touch you," Ethan promised. "Not while I'm still breathing." Lyra smiled gently. She walked over to a small console near the vault wall and tapped into it. A hologram appeared, stars coordinates, and a blinking dot far away. "What's that?" Ethan asked. Lyra's voice was quiet. "It's her, my mother." Ethan's heart stopped. "Anna." "She's alive," Lyra said. "This vault kept her in stasis after she destroyed the original project. Or she sent me everything, her voice, her mind, her memory, but her body is out there. Hidden on a planet near the fringe." Ethan stared at the blinking signal. 20 years ago. He had lost his sister. Now, A part of her had come back. And maybe, just maybe, she was still waiting. "We'll go to her," he said. "We'll bring her home." Lyra nodded. "But first," she said, "I want to see Earth." The journey back was quiet. The alien ship that had chased them vanished after the vault rejected them. Its crew had been neutralized, their mission failed, and without the Echo Child to unlock the vault, they had no reason to stay. Earth welcomed Lyra like a mystery wrapped. In a miracle, leaders and scientists gathered, but Ethan kept her close. She answered questions, but she didn't let anyone test her again. She belonged to no one. The people of Earth didn't fear her. They admired her, a girl born of two worlds, who had stopped an ancient weapon. The media called her the light between stars. But she didn't care for names. One night, she stood on a quiet cliffside. Watching the ocean for the first time, the wind brushed her hair back, and the stars above twinkled like soft fire. Ethan stood beside her. "Do you feel like you belong here?" he asked. Lyra smiled. "I don't know," she said, "but I want to." "You could have chosen the other path," he said. "You could have become what they made you to be." She looked at him, golden eyes steady. "I didn't want to be a weapon," she said. "I wanted to be someone my mother would be proud of. Someone human." Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are," he said. "You're more human than most people I know." In the days that followed, Lyra helped Earth decode pieces of the vault's safe knowledge medicine, energy, and star maps. She shared only what was good, what would help, and always kept the dangerous parts sealed. The vault's signal changed. Now it pulsed a new phrase in the stars. Bridge activated, awaiting peaceful visitors. Lyra had rewritten the code. She had turned a weapon into a message. Not of power, but of unity. The universe was wide and full of darkness. But now there was a light, a golden light, born from a girl with no name. A girl who made a choice. She chose truth. She chose peace. She chose humanity. And in doing so, she became the hope of two galaxies.